Hello, I'm Carolyn Blacksotier, and welcome to SMARTS, your guide to arts and culture in Baltimore County. Here's what's ahead. Are you ready for baseball? Meet the creative mind behind the book that will teach even the non-sports-minded the ins and outs of America's favorite sport. Find out more about the Baltimore County African American Cultural Festival. We'll meet a singer and ventriloquist who really connects with kids. Then we'll hear the Lady of the Lake belt it out with a number from Spamalot. We'll switch it up a bit to find out ways to explore the wonders of nature. And finally, we'll get smarter about moths and butterflies. It's a show filled with fun and games, singing, and wonders to discover, so let's get started. Even as a kid, our next guest was one of those people who just wouldn't sit still for the ordinary. He was always looking around, finding someone to talk to or to sketch. And if there wasn't anything interesting in his line of sight, well, he just made something up. And that's how his career was born. Joining us on SMARTS is children's book author, illustrator, and Orioles baseball fan, yay, Kevin O'Malley. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you very much.
Well, what a fun thing you do. What a fun person you are.
It is all I've ever wanted to do since I was in second grade.
Is what, be fun? Or?
Well, to be a children's book illustrator, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw this little picture of a boy in a wolf suit chasing after his dog with a fork. And said, that's a great thing. I want to do.
So did you show a propensity for this at a real young age? Did your parents say,
well,
wow?
I was never the best artist in my class.
Oh,
there
you
were
weren't?
always artists better than me, but it's one where I took to it. It felt right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what other people do. If you like what you're doing, you go ahead and
Well,
do
now,
it.
I noticed you don't have a Baltimore accent. I noticed some other accent.
Still Mid-Atlantic. It's Philly.
Philly.
It's the Philly sound.
So how did you make it to Baltimore?
I went to the Maryland Institute College of Art and
Okay.
graduated in '83. Met my wife, got married, had children.
Terrific.
Turned into an American League baseball fan. Go figure.
Yes, well, and what a great
DH.
town for baseball, right?
Ah, terrific stadium, great crowd.
Okay.
Nice people to talk with.
So I love this book. We're going to talk first of all, because you've done a lot of books, over 75. Okay, but this one in particular is really interesting to me because I love baseball, and right now the O's are doing okay.
That's right, that's right.
Tell us about this book.
Well, my partner, Charlie Vassalaro, is a sports writer, and we were at a game, and we realized all these kids were using their phones, and Charlie keeps a scorebook, and I tend to draw at the games. And we don't like the phones so much, you know.
Yeah.
We would like to see kids doing something else, and they don't know baseball as well as they used to. They don't watch. So this book is a primer of sorts for kids to learn the game.
I love it, and it comes complete with its
With
own
a
pencil.
You gotta have a pencil.
Of course.
Yeah, it's spiral bound, so you can put it on your lap. You can work with it. It's silly questions. How far is it to first base?
But
90 feet, an inch, a mile.
Right.
You know, if you don't know, you ask somebody.
And that's what baseball's all about, is all these stats, right?
Well, it's about stats and conversation, you say, and somebody throws out something like, how far was the biggest home run, that kind of thing.
So would you be insulted if I said I'd like my own copy to use at my own baseball games?
You can certainly have it.
You don't have to be a kid?
I've met some wonderful people who, like a Jamaican gentleman who doesn't really know baseball, he saw it and, oh, I got to have this.
Oh, interesting.
So we can take it to the game and begin to understand the American pastime.
Yeah, the great American pastime.
Yeah.
So how does someone get a hold of one of these books?
fanscompanion.com will get you to, it's $10, a bit of postage.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who does the postage. I've learned postage rates. I've learned a lot about this book. It's our goal in some ways to replace the bobblehead. We'd rather see kids making something with and remember the moment that they were there.
Okay.
We're hoping to find sponsorship and support through Boys Club, Girls Club, maybe. I don't know. A lot of different organizations could conceivably do it.
I'd like to see these all over the seats in
wonderful.
Camden Yards.
To see 10,000 kids working a book.
Okay, and I love the primer look at it and everything.
That's
now, you do other things with quite a bit of color. This book just came out called The Perfect Dog. So are you a dog lover?
Not particularly. My wife has a dog, but I've learned to like them. But what I've noticed is that how many different kinds of dogs are there? It's really remarkable. There are hundreds, and then you mix them together, and it's fascinating to take a walk now because I can spot them. That's a Spaniel Lab mix.
Now, you did not collaborate with someone on this. You wrote both the text.
I think of the 75 books, I've probably written 35 of them, 40 of them, maybe something like that.
So, I mean, one of the things you're known for, besides your wonderful illustrations, is your sense of humor. And I see that in the book.
I make a very nice living visiting schools around the country doing stand-up comedy for kids.
I've seen some online, and it is great. You
I
had me
love
laughing.
it.
Again, you
I
say
love
for
it.
kids, but I
Well, I
always
try to
love
get
it.
the teachers to laugh too. Teaching is a very hard job, and when visiting authors come, they pay you nicely to come in there. And
Yeah.
they deserve respect as well, so
Yeah.
you can make jokes that the kids don't understand and the teachers get a good laugh over. It's
Well,
very
and you've won
pleasant.
all kinds of awards for your books as well.
I have been a New York Times bestseller.
That's
I have won
fantastic.
state awards and all
Yeah.
of that kind
So
of thing.
how hard
My wife
is it-
doesn't let me keep any of the memorials on the coffee table, though.
We'll have to, maybe you
She
should do a
keeps
book
my
about
head
memorials.
small, is what she says. Keeps my head small.
And I noticed Crown Books for Young Readers, that's the publisher
Of this
here.
particular one, yeah.
How hard is it to get a publisher?
It's difficult.
Yeah.
And it took me, I probably was rejected close to 100 times before I
That'll
got my
give you a
first
sense
book
of humor,
published.
huh?
Well, no, yeah, it does. Yeah, you have to. They say if you want to be a creative person, you have to get used to rejection. And
Yeah.
think of it like a medal. But the truth, I'd be weighed down with my chest for all the rejections I've gotten.
Yeah.
But once you get one, then you begin to understand the system. I mean,
Sure.
it's like anything else. You have to have perseverance.
Okay, and so The Perfect Dog, we want to make sure that folks, they can get these at the Ivy Bookshop.
Yes,
and,
absolutely. Children's Bookstore in Roland Park, all
Yeah.
over the country, they'll be
Yeah.
available somewhere.
and all your main bookstores too. All right.
yeah.
Well, it is wonderful and a pleasure to meet you,
Nice
and
to
keep
meet you, too.
writing and drawing and,
Yeah, keep
and
trying.
keep making us smile and
If I
laugh.
see you in the future and you're out and about, I'll happily draw you a picture.
I'd love it. Thank you. You heard it here.
I think I've given away hundreds of them at this
All
point.
right.
I'm on more refrigerators than any artist you know.
Okay. Well, thanks, Kevin, so much for being here.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.